Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rakib and I want to talk about Boku no Hīrō Akademia, or as you probably know it, My Hero Academia is the title, although there's a slight variation on that. But you probably know the one. It's the incredibly bright and colourful Shōnen Jump anime that has a lot of people divided in terms of what they think about it. Just in case you're wondering, it's made by studios Bones. It's been adapted from the manga, which is still going, I believe. Not that I'm following it that much. The main character is called Izuku Midoriya, who ends up calling himself Deku, or imbecile, pretty much. There's this, probably the main character you've probably seen, the one that dominates, is a guy called All Might, the most powerful hero. Just a quick explanation of what this anime is about, if you've no idea. So it's about people with superhero powers that are called quirks. So people start developing special powers from birth. Various abilities, including fire, ice, pretty much like the X-Men or any other superhero, really. And then superhero genre, like Marvel, DC, etc. All these people with various powers, nothing too crazy. And at the heart of it is a guy called All Might, who's considered to be the most powerful. My Hero Academia, the title as it suggests, it's something to do with academia and being a hero, and that is kind of what the anime is so far. Now, the reason it has people divided or not liking it as much, giving it the negative kind of feedback, is because it moves very fast. If you've watched Naruto, then you know how slow it is, how the pacing is. Essentially 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons on going through certain trials, etc. Like, for instance, in a forest, which takes up like half a season almost. It's a big theme where Naruto has to go into a forest with his colleagues and his other ninjas, and then figure something out and survive and continue the journey. Whereas in My Hero Academia, in a couple of episodes, really, an entire subplot is just cut down into more or less half an episode for the most part, and that's why My Hero Academia kind of stands out. It's fast paced, it jumps a lot through time. You see, in fact, the 3 seasons that are out, it's pretty much an entire year or 2 have gone past, even though they haven't quite, if that makes any sense. Essentially, by season 3, they're all pretty much out there in the real world, so to speak, and they're helping stop villains, and that's nothing particularly new. But the key thing about what makes this anime kind of stand out is the emotional intensity. If that's the kind of thing you're into, that's where the camera starts to slow down, and you start seeing the zoom ins, and you start seeing the fade ins, the fade outs, and you see Izuku Midoriya, who is or Deku as you know him, starts to go through these challenging moments. And so I think what attracts a lot of people to him is he comes off as like a teen / preteen kind of guy, like 15, 16, going through like phase of some kind where he's essentially, well, he starts off the anime with no powers, and then he gets given powers, and it's like a dream come true for him. Then he goes through the challenge of self-confidence, really. So it's character development in terms of main character's internal development, like where he makes friends for the first time. He kind of makes a girlfriend towards the end. He not really. He goes through his self-confidence barrier where he doesn't have it, and he kind of develops it. He even gets kind of a rival, and so it's really about the main character and him being emotionally not the strongest and going through this process. And if you can relate to it, I suppose it might work, which is probably why I've seen a lot of girls dress up as him. The one with all the green hair, by the way, which I'm not a big fan of. It's the dark contrast that doesn't appeal to me. It just doesn't make sense. It is what it is. But that's it. If you're young, possibly female, you probably really like it, or you might get into it. But for me, it's a bit too bright, a bit too colourful, and I don't see myself following it too closely. It's just, I think the target audience is just too young for me. It just doesn't work for me, and I've kind of seen the same steps. I mean, it's taking, I want to say ripping off, but it's taking steps and cues from pretty much every other shonen anime that has come up. What was I gonna say? It's on season 3, going into season 4. It's pretty much as you expect. Nothing dramatic happens. You see minor character twists, minor everything. I mean, it's been rated PG-13, teens 13 or older. I'm looking at my anime list here, myanimelist.net, and if you're young and you're a teen, then it really might appeal to you a lot more. But for me personally, it just wasn't. Naruto is a lot more. Naruto is designed for an older audience, and with My Hero Academia, they're going for an even younger audience. I'd recommend the Japanese version. It's in a couple of different languages: German, Italian, French, Japanese, English, etc. You can tell because I think they've done that because it's just that popular. But for me, it's just not quite working. But I do like it. I can see why people like it. But let me go through some of the characters. The main character is All Might. He's the main character that gives his powers away, that's losing his power. And it's kind of sad, but he gives his power away, but he loses at the same time. The main character's rival is Bakugo Katsuki. Pretty much, as you'd expect. There's a guy called Tenya. He's kind of a buff-in. Midoriya, main character that we always follow around. And the other characters are just supporting, really. They come in and go. There's a lot of family stuff in this anime as well, with parents and legacy. And it's dealt with in a very emotionally intense way. Visually and storytelling, they don't really go into it, but they kind of play the sad music. And it's like Naruto, but in a safe environment, where nobody really dies. Unlike Naruto, where people die and disappear. Here, you can just tell by the cover, it's for a younger audience. Try season 1. I think it picks up a little bit. The pacing picks up, and then maybe it gets a bit too fast, in fact, and it just jumps through hoops. I mean, it's just not original. I think that's the issue. It's kind of sending people to camps to train, to do whatever it is, and so it lacks originality, but it's visually looks good. Characters aren't unique, but if you're looking for something because you're bored, you might as well. Plus, you'll see so many people in cosplay for My Hero Academia, especially the younger cosplayers, etc. Thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, it always helps.